Hello, hello, another video. Lots of stuff coming up. So I might be making a bunch. We'll see. So especially yesterday, a big thing happened. I had a big fight with my parents. I'm still here. I'm still with them. Things are quiet, but it was pretty big with both of them simultaneously. And one thing I'm currently processing is this cultural shaming or cultural obligation, cultural dynamic of what you can and cannot say to your mother because that's your mother. So I got so mad at her yesterday because of something that is part of her character trait. It is very triggering for me. I don't think it really matters everything. I don't want to bore you with all the details, but I said some stuff back, which was kind of name calling. But to me, what I said was the truth. I'm trying to translate it in, I said it in Russian, but I called her stupid and I called her crazy, which to me both are true because the behavior that she exhibited and how she responded and she carried out is stupid in my view. And she has a habit of behaving and she kind of intentionally dumps herself down. And I'm confident to say that because I've developed that habit as well. I noticed that about myself, especially when I did my second master's 2 years ago. And I did an MBA in Israel, so it was extremely stressful time. But and especially it was an MBA, and I'm really bad at math. So it was so triggering that I started noticing that I'm kind of dumbing myself down a little bit. I did notice how people's looks were towards me. I was very triggered. Anyway, I know that's one of my sensitivities as well about seeing myself as stupid. I think I made a video somewhere that my grandmother, my mother, my brother, guy I dated, and his brother could often had that connotation. Even my mom said I'm stupid, not out of anger. She was kind of laughing about it, but she was wanted to carry over that. She does. It wasn't. It's not the modern thing of saying, like you hear sometimes Black people like it's stupid. It's not that. It's not like that. It was more like it was on my birthday. I turned 16, and my mom's like, "Oh, you're 16, but you're still so stupid." So clearly, I've taken on that stupid from both of my parents. I see that in them quite often. It's like it's almost like they pretend, like they dumb themselves down intentionally when they get insecure so that they can look more vulnerable and helpless, and then you come into their rescue. Or it's like, well, I just made a mistake, but the mistake they made was so careless, was so inconsiderate. That's why I got so angry on something that had to do with my well-being. And that's what triggers me the most, is when their actions affect mine, my well-being, or right now they're helping me take care of my dog. So when I see their actions, like when I give them clear-cut directions what to do, what not to do, and they still go against me and they do this constantly, So it to me triggers that they're just careless, irresponsible. And then when I confront them about it, they play stupid, like that, like they vert into the child kind of. um, so yesterday the fight was kind of dying down. My mom kind of, when I hit her hard, she kind of runs away. And then my dad was still there and it was kind of dying down. And he said that the yelling was over nothing. Um, and you should go apologize to her. And it's like on one side, I was like, it's like it's like two sides now. Culturally, like especially growing up in the Jewish, like the traditional cultures, you have the 10 commandments, especially, like even though we didn't grow up religious, the whole thing of respect the parent, submit to the parent. It's pretty, it's a constant thing. There's a lot of shaming from, let's say, if I was to dated guy from my culture, even on first date, there could be comments. Oh, why aren't you doing that for your parents? Oh, you need to do more. Like there's just a lot of do for your parents, be very close to your parents, visit a lot, call a lot. And my family is kind of rare in my culture that we're not close. So that shaming constantly, and the expectations of what you're supposed to do as a good daughter, as a good child, is constantly pushed. And there's a lot of manipulation too that I've heard over the years. So I was kind of like, on one hand, I was feeling, yeah, it's not something to say to a mother. And then I was like, you know what? But I was saying the truth. I was saying my truth because this is how I see her. She is mentally ill. It's impossible that she's not. And she is stupid because that's how she's always been. It's not like a decline in cognitive skills due to a disorder. It's a constant behavior that intentionally she dumps herself down and becomes negligent and careless, and just doesn't care at all, doesn't care about the consequences, or her actions can hurt somebody. And then she behaves like, oh, so do whatever, no big deal. What's the big deal here? When there actually is a big deal. It's not like something small, like, I don't know, forgetting an appointment, depending on the appointment, especially if it's a habit. It's kind of that thing, like when you're dealing with a person, speaking of like forgetting an appointment, like if you forget an appointment once, okay, it's annoying, no big deal. But if you have a habit of doing that, people are going to get pissed off and will not trust you. So her negligence, her carelessness, her like dumbing herself down makes her completely not trustworthy at all. Like I do not trust her with anything. And it caused me anxiety to have to trust her with my baby, my dog. So again, the back to the shaming part. So yeah, so the one side, the culture, yes, it's not something to say to a mother or to anybody. But at the same time, I never felt like she was a mother. I've never felt like I've had a father or mother. Like, yes, these people did whatever they could to take care of me. I'm living in their house. But the paternal instinct, that feeling, has never been present. Maybe maybe a little bit when like the first few years, like I used to remember her touch or her scent, but overall, I kind of find her repulsive. Um, so I've never felt that. I've never felt like um, I could rely on her. I never felt like I felt like I had, when I was 23 years old, I felt like I had 6 children, 6 little ones. My dad, my mom, my grandparents, my brother, and then he got married to a child and had a child. So I felt like at 23, I was completely worn out and I had children already. So I don't have them now, even though I want. Because it's like I already exhausted the maternal before I even had a chance to really be a child myself. So it's like, yeah, I shouldn't say this to a mother, but it's like, I don't even see her that way. That's one. Two, I think, apologize when you are not telling the truth, when you are lying. But what I said is, to me, I didn't say it to be hurtful. I said the bluntest truth I could, because what she did, I found it completely stupid and mentally ill. Because of the pattern that she's exhibited all these years. So I have this kind of tug between my truth and the cultural perspective. And right now I'm sensing like this tug back and forth. There's a strong desire just to run to her and say, "Mommy, I'm sorry," and buy her flowers and give her a hug and a kiss. I didn't mean it, but I did. I meant it. I still do. That is what I said. It's how I see her every day, all day. And I absolutely do not want to touch her ever. And running to her apology, like it would be fake. I wouldn't mean it at all. Not saying like people shouldn't be doing that. It's like it wouldn't be authentic for me. What's authentic to me is if she performs, does something, says something that has a strong potential to harm me in some way, she's going to get hit hard. Probably because, I mean, right now it's that power to hit hard is coming up and up and up because we've had fights. Since I moved back, I've said stuff to her before. And again, it wasn't to be mean. It was my truth. Like I called her a fat whale or something. And to me, it's true. It's ridiculous how much she gained weight and how she looks. And she just lies most of the day and doesn't do anything, and then complains that there's like a dish in the sink while I'm like rushing off to work. It's like, fucking wash the dish. And most of the time, it's not even mine, it's my dad's, and he works all day. It's like, be a wife. You made the choice to be a wife, so be it. So like the stuff that I say, I know socially we're conditioned to like be nice, say kind things, be kind to others. I find all of that complete bullshit. Be loving, there's loving words to say and there's not loving words to say. But if you're saying loving words that you don't mean, that don't feel authentic, that are not authentic, why say them? Are you saying these loving things to someone because that's what you're supposed to say to show that you are a loving person, that you are a kind person? But in reality, you want to say something else. This power to say things bluntly has been growing in me over the years. I'm noticing I'm actually getting a bit more blunt in my emails with my supervisors. And then I'm like, oh, shouldn't I have said that? But it's like, for me, naturally, it doesn't come out any other way. And I haven't had consequences. I've had complaints from clients though. But again, I just don't feel like I shouldn't have said that though. It's like they can go somewhere else then if they don't like it. And the bluntness, again, it's not to be harmful. It's to cut out the bullshit. It's to cut out the rules. It's to cut out the shaming, the expectations, the control of of someone's voice. Because that's what she does. In the moment I start hitting back, she told me to shut up. She threatened me a few times yesterday, like she was gonna get physical. It's like, go ahead, try it. Something new. You know, all these tactics to silence the person. And you see liberals do that too, but it's like it's a narcissistic thing. Like once they start losing the battle, when they see they start losing, they go into insults like commenting on my body, my weight, my stomach is huge, even though I actually did a three-day juice cleanse and my waist shrunk just the day before I finished. So it's like she knows it's not true. It's actually true about her, but she's projecting it. So it's like all these tactics, or they were threatening to kick me out, but she's like, I'm just going to drag you out of the house by your hair. But she didn't actually do it. It's like all these tactics to silence. They did do it when I was little because they had more power back then. And it was a way to control and silence. But now it's no longer working. I am now holding back. And the only thing now she can do is just like not look at me. This is what she was doing today. Just stand with her back to me. I made some kind of comment. I was like, she didn't respond. I'm like, all right, whatever, don't respond. Actually, it makes things easier for me. Like I noticed since I've been back a year and a half, she has like this cycle every other week to just go inside herself and just close off and not talk. And it's not even like if there was a fight or I did something, it's just I just kind of noticed a pattern. And then at first it was triggering and it's stressing me out. And then I kind of thought, this actually makes things easier because when she is trying to talk to me, it's just utter nonsense. And then that stresses me out even more. So it's like shutting up for a week makes it easier for me. The only difference is like she doesn't always, like sometimes I eat what they cook, sometimes I don't. So it's just like, okay, so I'll just have stuff in the freezer for those weeks that she just completely closes herself off and not say anything, not do anything, just like stays in her own lair. And it actually makes it easier. So there's been a lot of stuff going on in my family that socially do not look appropriate. Like I actually, when I was first started living on my own and I was in a relationship, my parents created a huge mess for my birthday. I was so broken from it. And they continued just to acting out, even though they just fucked up. They fucked up my birthday. And I knew their temperament, so I gave them like a week. And on my birthday, it was just, I told them to leave my house. And my ex was like, well, on the surface, it doesn't look right. You know, like I understand why you did it. But on the surface, you know, socially, if you were to say this to somebody, it doesn't look right. So it's like nobody's looking at my parents' behavior. They're only looking at mine. Because as a child, all the expectation falls on me, not on the parent. The parent is just assumed they're working hard, they're providing, you have shelter, you have clothes, you have food. That means basically take it up the ass. They're basically allowed to do whatever they want, and you need to be the perfect daughter, child, son, whatever, and say all the right things that you're supposed to say, and behave in a way that you're supposed to. And that shell that they've been under all these years, protected under, is breaking. I will not allow it anymore. I didn't allow it for a long time, but of course they were able to like maneuver, but I'm hitting them even harder now because I'm in their house. You know, when I was living on my own, telling them to leave, I literally told them just get out. All they did quickly is like take their stuff and leave. Now I'm there in their house. This is the real. This is where I make my stand for, not for them, but for me. So that, how do I explain it? As long as I don't stand up for myself, no matter how it looks to the outside world, they have the power, because within that shell, they can get away with anything. And I feel like the victim. I'm basically submitting. And to be able to stand up for myself, this firm, this powerful, in the home where they think they have the power, this is where it feels like I'm actually turning the tide. So I think this is why the biggest reason why God brought me back here. Because I lived on my own for 14 years. So like logically, I kind of figured this, you know, coming back, but spiritually, this is where the biggest battle is. They are my biggest demons. So I can only fight on a terms where I'm the most vulnerable. Because yeah, she could try to drag me out and throw me out. So how is that going to go for her? So yeah, I'm not doing this to improve our relations. I'm doing this to get all my power back that they took away from me all these years. And even though it didn't look nice, it didn't sound right what I said, is 100% true. It was my truth. And I don't have any regrets. I'm so fucking proud of myself. You know, that there's that conditioning, the social conditioning part and say, no, I'm gonna apologize, something's not good. But the strong voice in me is like, heck yeah, I got punched. When I stood up for myself, basically, where it mattered the most. Sorry if this was like a ramble, but again, I'm processing a lot of stuff. I spent hours releasing all the energy, went to bed kind of late, just releasing everything. And still, so I might be making more videos to just, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So sorry if this was like a ramble, but hope you like this video.